Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on this webinar. I'm Idan from Voyantis, very excited for the opportunity to host Eitan Hellman on our webinar today. Eitan lives and breathes growth marketing strategy. From the years I've known him, I can tell that his ideas and actions go beyond the KPIs he was tasked with, and he's a true visionary in this field. Eitan heads growth marketing at Miro, and is part of its amazing journey of growth and expansion. Prior to Miro, Eitan served as the head of marketing at Monday and as the director of SEO, email marketing, and commercial partnerships at 𝗕𝘂𝗀𝗄𝑒. Throughout his career, he has been committed to driving growth, and today we'll have the unique opportunity to uncover some of its secrets and to learn about some of the strategies he adopted. Thank you, Eitan, for joining us today.
Thanks for hosting me. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Some housekeeping before we get started. Please send your questions in the Q&A feed at the bottom of the screen, and we'll try to address them all. So without further ado, let's get started. So Eitan, before we dive into your strategy and lessons learned, can you tell us about your journey and what brought you to focus on growth marketing?
I think you described my journey like I joined the tech industry marketing 14 years ago. I started at 𝗕𝘂𝗀𝗄𝗏, transitioned to Monday, and now these days I'm in Miro. I think focus on growth marketing was, like just where life took me. Like I could imagine myself being a teacher or like doing product just as well. So that's just like life.
Okay, thank you. So let's dive deep into the question. So what are the main challenges that Miro is facing, and how are you addressing them?
I assume in the context of growth and growth marketing. So we definitely want to continue growing as fast as we can as a company, and growth marketing is one of the main drivers we have to generate new users and to drive new business, to expand existing accounts, and basically to contribute to our company ARR. I think that one of the main challenges, especially in the last year and a half, is I guess for many other companies, is just to figure out how do you drive sustainable growth, not only blowing up the numbers, but actually generate revenue and make a positive return on investment. At Miro, we have a freemium model, which means that accounts or users can be free forever. And to drive sustainable growth, especially when you are paying money on paid channels, you need to figure out how much of your investment will come back, how fast it will come back. And because it's a freemium model, the conversions can happen any time from the first minute, but also a year after. So trying to figure out when and if a conversion will happen, it's very important for us.
Also, I love how you said the focus on sustainable growth. We hear it from so many growth leaders in the industry in this past 1 or 2 years, right? The shift from just CAC based to unit economics. So in a minute, we're going to ask you, Eitan, about how you are leveraging value-based bidding for Miro. But I want to ask our audience as well. So we're going to start a poll now. And I would ask any of you that wants to answer, please participate. And in a few minutes, we'll share the results. And the question is basically, have you started, any of you, our audience, started working with value-based bidding, VBB? And the options are no, I'm basically still using TCPA or in the process of implementing it. I have a fully operational value-based bidding, but set on static values for different funnel events, or we have a fully operational dynamic user level value-based bidding. We'll move to the question with Eitan, and we'll share the results soon. So Eitan, how are you at Miro harnessing data and value-based bidding in order to help you overcome these challenges?
My team is responsible also for operating the paid marketing channels, and we are spending quite a lot of money on paid marketing. As I said earlier, one of the key questions that we keep asking ourselves is we spend money today on different campaigns. Will this money spent provide like a good return on investment, and like we also have targets of like how fast we want the money to come back. And this is important, especially when you're spending a considerable amount of money. Like, and this is, I guess, like it's varies by companies, but for us, like maybe like dozens of millions is enough, or is a lot, and for other companies it's like less or more. And one of the things we really want to get like is a strong proxy or like a projection of if we spend money today on a campaign, how many paid users or paid account will this campaign result? And the second question is like when and how long it will take our investment to come back. So basically, we partner with Voyantis to help us in both fronts. One is like making a prediction of like from this specific cohort, how many conversions we're going to have. And the results of the Voyantis prediction were like amazing, very, very accurate. I think like the first, at some point we reached like 97% of precision, which is crazy because it enables us as marketers to say, okay, like here is a campaign we want to double down on because it brings like amazing results. Here is a campaign we want to shut down because the results are far from being good, or like here is a campaign we can optimize further because like the results are somewhere in between. And we are using this for like paid search. We're using it for the affiliate channels. And the second thing, we want to use this prediction to send signals back to the platform, especially like at Google with paid search, and helping Google to say, okay, like here is the type of users we want to bring more of. Like this is what we're trying to do with the Voyantis signal optimization.
Have you considered, are you pursuing, I would call it view-based advertising products like YouTube or something like that? Is there something in your roadmap? Because we've heard it from several customers.
So we want to expand the use to other channels. I think the next one will be, we're going to work with Voyantis on is probably going to be Meta. I think that like with YouTube, we still need to figure out like how we're going to do it. And if YouTube like is a good, like basically there is three parts. Like one is like us as a company, like we need to have like the right data in place.
Yes.
And to collect the right data in order to be able to pass this data back to Voyantis. Then like Voyantis needs to have like a reliable model we can trust, both in terms of predictions and like in terms of signal optimization. But the signal optimization, which is based on like, first of all, making a good model, then like there is a third party, which is the actual like marketing platform, like Google, Meta, whatever it might be. And we need the platform algorithm to also be able to digest and like act in the way we want towards this data we are sending. So it's like a three-way game that needs to work really well. So we know it works well for us right now when it comes to like paid search in terms of like the entire cycle. We know the prediction are good like for all the channels. I think that like expanding signal optimization to other channels, it's like a step-by-step process.
Yeah. So I would say we see, first of all, like Meta is somewhat view-based, right? It's click-based, but it's also a lot of views there. And I think the next evolution is going to be around view-based because there's like owned and operated media like YouTube and Meta are little bit more resilient to the shifts in advertising platforms. So we are developing a solution for YouTube as well. And as you said, we're working on Meta together. So thank you for that. I would share the results from our survey. So basically, like 60% of the respondees said that they are still working with TCPA. 11% said they are in the process of implementing, and 20% are using like a basic VBB with static values for different funnel events, and only 6% are actually doing full-fledged value-based bidding. So I urge all of you to consider it, because as Idan said, it's very valuable. We'll ask you to share some results soon. So thank you everybody for participating in the poll, and let's move on to the next question. So what was your goal when transitioning to value-based bidding? Can you share some specific results?
One of the, again, depends on like your business model and the type of industry maybe and product you're trying to sell. But as I mentioned before, like one thing is like just to have like the prediction. Like it's like almost a binary thing. Like, will a user or account convert into a paying user? Yes or no? It's like almost like a binary question. But it's a binary question that, like in our case, like it's hard to answer like immediately or like close to the money spent, because there is like we have a freemium model, and there is can be like a huge lag between like the moment of registration to the moment of conversion. So this is like just like one thing. And it's funny because like TCPA, like the target cost per acquisition, for us, we also used to work with target CPA, but like it doesn't tell, in our case at least, it doesn't tell a good story. Why? Because we have like paid accounts that pay $100 a year, and we have paid accounts that worth like $1 million a year. So the greater like the variance of like the user value, you can't attach like the same target CPA for like every account. So if like in your case, like there isn't a great variance like in other companies between like the value of a user, maybe target CPA can work. Like if you have enough data, if you can like optimize toward like this a point of acquisition, whatever it be, like it will be a register user, it will be like a paying user, whatever. If the smaller the variance, you can, in my opinion, work with target CPA. The greater the variance is, like this doesn't hold. And I think that like from like the talks I have with other colleagues, many of them are missing this point. Many of them think that they can come and like put like a single tag price, but I think that like in reality is very different. And what we're trying to do, and it's not like an easy game, we're trying to move away from like this like one price fits all to like what are we really willing to pay for user X? And this is probably very different from what we are willing to pay from user Y, etc., etc. And I think that when we started, like I told you, like at the end, I want to have like a different user value per user.
Yes.
Which I refer to as like the holy grail. Like if we can be able to come back and send the platform like these types of users worth like X dollars, these types of users worth Y dollars, etc.
You mean even different users within the same team, right?
Different users in the same team. And I'll give you an example for the people who hear us, because we are talking a lot about this, you and I, but imagine that like we are like, if you know Miro, it's like a visual platform for collaboration and innovation. If we bring like someone who is an email marketer in a team who joins the company, is a junior like email marketer, he might invite like 2 other members to join like the team. But if I'm onboarding like the VP of product in a tech company, this VP of product can, first of all, say to the entire like product team, we are using Miro as a tool. And this VP of product is also like a champion and a decision maker in the organization. And the amount of money I will be willing to pay for this user and the first user is not the same amount of money.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think that like it's a very long way, and we are working with Voyantis for quite a while. And I think that like at some point I told Voyantis and the team, like, I don't want to get to the Holy Grail on day one, because like for me, it's like climbing Mount Everest. Like, it's like, I want to go from like one base to another base, to another base. Like, I know, like, I can see the peak of the mountain. I don't think we can reach the peak of the mountain in like our first attempt. Like, we need to like build the capabilities and the trust and to see things works like base by base. So yeah, it's still a interesting journey.
It is. It's fun to be on this journey together with you. All right, thank you. Could you share some specific results? Maybe you have a slide for this. Maybe talk about the results.
Yeah, basically, as you can see on the slide, like our most valuable users are like people that are registering with a corporate email. So like non-Gmail, Hotmail, etc., non-personal email address. We know like they convert more. We know they have like a higher user value. And with Voyantis, with the signal optimization on paid search, we saw like a 30% increase in the amount of corporate paid plans. We also saw like an improvement of 33% in the predicted ROAS, 55% increase in corp trial starts. So we have like a paid trial, 14 days, which was fun, like interesting. It was introduced after like Voyantis already built the model. So we actually had to readapt the model to like us introducing like a paid business trial. But we saw like more accounts entering the trial with Voyantis. And we also saw a 14% increase in the average seats per renewed plan. Renewed meaning after like the first cycle of renewal, like whether it's like a monthly or a yearly. So very impressive results, at least in our opinion, and we are very happy with that.
Thank you. And maybe just to elaborate a little bit on the setup for this. So those results are in a clean A/B test, right? Deployed on large scale budgets, right? No need to show the specific numbers, but right in your main geo or in strategic geos, right?
In our main strategic geos, which accounts for like a majority portion of our revenues, and like this is the clean A/B test, 50-50.
Yeah. I would also maybe mention, it's not written here, but often I hear from customers, like prospective customers, raising the concern, when I move to value-based bidding, I will get potentially higher LTV customers, higher ROAS, lower CAC for a paying team. But obviously I'm going to bid more for the higher value users. So my initial CAC, so the CAC for sign up or the CAC for registration, is going to go up, right? That's like one of the most frequent questions I hear. And in this case, it did not go up as well. Like it was like it took a few single percentages of difference.
Yeah, it was basically on par, more or less.
Yeah.
And we actually like when we thought about like the test design, like we said, like, again, because I want to go from like one base to another base to another base. And we said like, even if like everything stays the same, if the cost per acquisition, which this is like what we used to use, if it's more or less on par, I'm happy. I reached like base one. Because we knew we were going like on the right trail, like it's a journey. And the first thing I said, like, yeah, like I'm happy. Like if we reach on par in like a cost per acquisition, we continue forward.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's counterintuitive, but it actually isn't, because yes, we're bidding more for the high value customers, but we're bidding less for the low value customers and buying less of them. So the average cost per sign up doesn't have to go. You just buy the right traffic. We kind of touched some of this, like, right, what were your guardrails and what were you concerned about? So we talked about the basic CAC for signups, right, or for corporate signups. Was there anything else?
Basically, like what we want to see we can either get like the same amount of corporate registration with lower spend, or lower spend, or if we have like the same spend, we get more registration. Like that was the
Lower
minimum
CAC.
guardrails.
Basically lower
That's the minimum. Like this is like what we say, like that's like a good initial test. One of the things we continue to do during like the A/B test was like making sure like the spend is more or less the same. And it was more or less the same. Like I think it was like 1 or 2% like difference in spend between the control and treatment group. And we did see that like also the corporate user registration were more or less on par, but we saw much better results on all the financial metrics.
The deep funnels. Great, thank you. I see a quick question about the results from Alexander. Are the results you see on a given platform, web or app, or both? So I can answer this and you will just verify it was on web and mobile web, right? So basically Google search.
Yeah, on web, yeah.
All right, so let's keep going. Can AI value prediction be used in other ways for Miro, in your opinion? And if so, you can share a little bit.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, like we are trying also to see how it will work like on Meta and YouTube going forward, but we also have like a more basis to conquer. So like we are still like in the journey. We still like think of like what other points we want to reach. It's a constant discussion. I think it's one of the most interesting one that like constantly force me to think and like spot opportunities. And like I'm happy also like to have Voyantis as like I see Voyantis as a partner, not a vendor. Like the amount of support and the patient we get from Voyantis is amazing. And yeah, so like we're going to try more. And we're also trying to convince Voyantis to help us in other fronts with like AI prediction.
Yes.
But they still didn't say I do. So like
we're on our way. It's in the roadmap.
So let's see.
Yes. Great. Do you have any tips that you want to give for other growth leaders?
I think like in this context, like I have a lot to say, but like yeah, I don't think we have like enough time. And I think that like in the context of what we came to discuss today, like on the macro level, I think like I mentioned most of it. So yeah.
Okay. Basically, if I take the Everest example, it's be bold and try stuff, right? If you don't try,
yeah, I think like big changes like require like patience. I think you need to see the peak of the mountain, but I don't think you need to reach it at one go. It's almost impossible. If you reach it in one go, it's most likely not a transformative project. It's something you just missed maybe along the way, but it's nothing transformative. I think that like the transformative stuff, it's stuff that like make you like at the being at the front of the pack, or like the stuff that are hard and require patience and vision.
And also thank you for the warm words in your previous answer. And I think we treat Miro as a partner, not just a customer, and actually all of our customers. Like this is a journey that a company needs to go through to move to predictive value-based bidding, and we need partners to make this happen. That's a couple of questions that we've seen from the audience. So one was, what strategies does Miro use to convert freemium users into paying subscribers?
I think like it's it's like 95% about the product. Like I think like you want to acquire the right users. That's like the beginning. Like you can have like a huge top of the funnel coming in, but like it might not be the relevant users or the users who will find value coming out of the product. So like their likelihood to pay goes down. And then like I think it's like the product, like it's a combination of like bringing the right people that can extract value. Yeah. So
thank you. How do you decide between an in-house solution, building such an in-house solution, or using a vendor?
I think that like at Monday we had like some of this solution like built in-house. It's not an easy task. It requires like internal resources that are dedicated to this. It's also expensive to do it internally. And at least for us, when we started, like we didn't feel we have like enough resources or like enough that we don't have the internal capabilities to build a model like this that will actually be reliable and we will become a game changer. We could have done something simple, but I don't think we will reach this level of like sophistication, and definitely not these results.
Yeah, you mentioned the change with the trials, the business model in the middle of the test. So we readjusted the models. It's really about like continuous machine learning serving of the model. I think is making sure that the value is provided over time. All right, so Idan, we're out of time. It's been a pleasure having you with us and sharing your knowledge and experience. So thank you. Folks, you can reach out, check out the Voyantis website, both for the Miro case study and if you want to download the full value-based bidding guide. Thank you, Idan.
Thank you, everyone. I hope it was helpful.
Bye-bye.